Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail, and I wanted to start this video with some candles being lit and some thoughts and prayers, because this video it's about a family, a full family of hikers that went out for a day hike, and they never came back. And then this was on a Sunday, very recently, this was within the last couple weeks. This case was brought to my attention by one of my viewers, and this case takes us to Southern California, to the town of Mariposa, where a young couple had just moved fairly recently to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life and to enjoy the outdoors. This young couple decided to go out for a day hike on a Sunday afternoon. They took their young baby and their dog, and they went to a place called Devil Gulch near the Merced River. And the next day their nanny showed up and they weren't there, so she reported them missing. So let's talk about these people and who they were and how they came to be in this area. John Gerrish and Ellen Chung were married, and John was originally from England, but they were living in San Francisco. John had been working as a software engineer for Google, but then during the COVID pandemic, he got a job working from home for Snapchat. Ellen Chung, his wife, was working as a yoga instructor. Now, this was during their time when they were living in San Francisco, but they were both big lovers of the outdoors. They loved outdoor activities, outdoor events, things like Burning Man, but they wanted a change. Ellen went back to school to get her master's in marriage counseling, and then they ended up having a baby. And they loved the outdoors, so they decided to move down to Mariposa in Southern California, which is just kind of south of Yosemite, south to the west. After their move, John was working from home and Ellen was going to class for her counseling. One Sunday afternoon, they went to this valley pictured here called Devil's Gulch, and I know everyone's gonna go crazy over that because of the name Devils. But they decided to move down here because after she had her baby, they wanted to focus on raising their child and provide a nice, healthy environment for her. This is an aerial view of the Merced River, and this is the actual area where the whole event ended up taking place. The terrain here is fairly rugged and remote. However, for Mariposa residents, apparently it's a very popular recreation site for people to go hiking, camping, and things like that. So that's another thing that sort of lends to the oddity of this case, because they were the only ones that died, and apparently, it's a very popular place for people to go. Now, they were apparently on the Savage Lundy Trail, and they were found in this valley of Devil's Gulch. It's unclear, but they went out Sunday for a day hike, and they parked their car in the Jersey-Dale area, and that's where their vehicle was subsequently found by authorities. Now, their bodies were found roughly 1.5 miles from where their truck was discovered by the authorities. It was parked at the trailhead on Heights Cove Road, and apparently it's a remote trailhead along the dirt road north of Highway 49 and east of Highway 140. This is right in the Sierra National Forest station of the Mariposa Pines area. Now, the bodies were tested. They did an autopsy, and even after the autopsy, they couldn't find any cause of their death. There was no outside trauma. There was no toxins. So even after the initial autopsy was completed, they still have no answers and no definitive reason for how this family of 3 and their dog all perished on a seemingly beautiful Sunday afternoon. I did talk to a couple of doctors that I know at Johns Hopkins University, and I asked them, what possibly could have done this when there's no outside trauma to the bodies, there's no toxins. Even after autopsy, they couldn't figure it out. And they said that they would conduct a further autopsy and do an extended tox screen, which I believe they are doing right now in California. So hopefully that will give their family and friends some answers, because I know that they must just be exasperated. And the police chief that's investigating this, I know he's exasperated listening to the press conference. I mean, there's just no answers. It just doesn't make any sense. Here's a young, healthy, happy family with their whole lives ahead of them, and they just turn up dead with no reason. Here's a terrain view of the area where they were hiking. You can see the trail that's leading out to the Devil's Gulch, which is in this valley along the Merced River. And like I said, it's a very popular destination and it's a very well-traveled area. And from my research, aside a firefighter that died there a few years back, there haven't been any hiking deaths or deaths from recreational activities of any kind in the last, 20 years. Now, I could be wrong. That's just what I found. So if you guys know of anything, please leave me a comment. One of the main theories that they are investigating is the possible cause of toxic algae blooms. Now, I put this picture up, which is a map of where people have reported dangerous algae blooms, which could produce toxins and could be lethal. But after I investigated this, according to the Environmental Protection Agency and some other sources, there's never been a human fatality due to algae blooms. There have been animals that have perished, but from my research, no human deaths. So if this turns out to be the case, this would be the first. Now, according to the CDC and the Environmental Protection Agency, these algae blooms are very easy to spot. They say it looks like almost like there's been paint thrown in the water. It's very bright and colorful. I'm going to have information in the description if you would like to do further reading on that. There's no doubt that these algae blooms can be very dangerous and they can cause people to get sick and animals to die, so it is definitely something to be aware of. The Forest Service had posted a warning on their website about this algae during the summer, so it is something that they are aware of and are trying to get under control. Now, the other possibility is old gold mines can release gases, but according to the authorities in that area where they were found, there was no mines for, several, just nowhere possibly that could have happened. So they're kind of ruling that out. They're going to talk to a local mining community that's in the area to see if they maybe have missed a mine, but I find that hard to believe too, especially because they were just found sort of on the South Fork of this river where apparently there aren't any mines. It's just a very bizarre and creepy case, because how did this family of 3 and their dog all die with no outward signs of trauma, no injuries, nothing showed up in the autopsy? I mean, it's just like they just all dropped dead for no reason. And for those of you that are thinking suicide, the authorities have already ruled that out, unless it was some really grandiose scheme. I mean, this was a very happy young family. All their friends and family said that would never be a possibility, and from reading it, I don't believe that either. I believe something just very odd happened, and it's a tragedy. The good news is the lead detective that's heading up this investigation is really steadfast, and from what he said and all the things that he's talked about, he's not going to rest until he figures out what happened and gives this family some justice and closure. And hopefully, they're going to be doing these other autopsies where they can rule out other toxins. And there are some strands of E. coli, like E. coli 157, that kill very quickly, but the whole family would have had to eat it, including the baby, and the baby was a small baby, so she would have still been on formula, but who knows? I mean, this is just very bizarre. And those cases with E. coli 157, that would have been easily seen in the autopsy. The intestines would have been all torn up, and so again, there was no sign of anything like that. There was no sign of disease, no sign of illness, no signs of trauma to the body, no signs of injury. The autopsies, like I said, didn't lead to any new information. That's why after talking to some of those doctors at Hopkins, gas seems like it could be a very plausible cause. One of the detectives on the case was suggesting it could be carbon monoxide gas. But my thinking is, if you're outside in the fresh air, how would you get killed by gas? I mean, that's really scary if that can actually happen when you're just outside in the fresh air. This is the kind of case that keeps me up at night. I mean, here's a young, wonderful couple who was loved by everyone in the community. Everyone said that they just doted on their daughter. They moved from the hustle and bustle of city life to get away and try and be in a outdoor environment and raise their child in nature. And here they go out for a simple hike on a Sunday afternoon and they never come back. And not only that, it's like they died for no reason. And it's just a Greek tragedy every way you look at it. And my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who knew them and everybody that's working on this case. I really hope that they're able to find some answers and bring some closure to the friends and family. And I just wanted to end this video with more candles and sending lots of love and thoughts and prayers, and just wishing that you get through this, and hoping that the detectives and the doctors will get you some answers so that you can find closure someday soon. I ask that everyone please be respectful in the comments, and before you leave a comment, just think about it. If this was a friend of yours or someone you knew, if you do leave an inappropriate comment, it will be removed. And I challenge everybody today to go out and do something nice for someone else, even if it's a perfect stranger. If you're getting fast food, pay for the person's food that's behind you in the car behind you, or pay for someone's coffee if you're at a Starbucks, or take your friend out to lunch. Anything that you can think of that you feel comfortable with. I want to send my thoughts and prayers out once again to the friends and family and the investigators and the doctors, and just hoping that you can get some answers soon. Thank you everybody for watching, as always, and thank you to Coag.ag for providing the background music. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.